What you say?
I told you that it's time to start the show.
That you only meant well.
Yeah, the show's gonna do
Of
well.
course you did. What you say?
I said let's go.
That it's all for the best.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be like the best
Of course it
podcast.
is. What you say?
God, do I have to keep repeating
That's
myself?
just what we need. You decided this.
Hold up, I
What
thought we
you
both
say?
decided to do this.
What did she say?
I said let's start the show.
Hey everyone, welcome to What You Say, NOC podcast. My name is Elyse Daly.
And I am Scott Daly.
And together,
We're the Dailies. This is the podcast where each and every week, except for next week probably, my wife Elyse and I will go through the hit 2000s teen drama, The OC, episode by episode. This week on the show, we are covering 2 episodes, Season 3, Episode 24, The Man of the Year, and our season finale, Season 3, Episode 25, The Graduates.
Yeah, Scott, actually, we might be able to make next week. Since we don't have to watch any episodes, all that we can do is if we can make it through to Friday, we could do our summary episode Friday or Saturday, and then we could have that released on Tuesday.
That's true. That is true.
So it's possible.
It is
But
possible.
if that happens, then regardless, we won't be there on Monday. We'll probably be coming home from the hospital some point on Tuesday.
Yeah, when you're listening to the next week's episode, the baby will definitely be here, right?
Yeah, next week, not this week.
No.
Oh, maybe this week. I don't know.
No, not this week. Not the way it's going, baby. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Sorry to disappoint you.
Well, we'll talk about this in Roses and Thornies a little bit later. But
Yeah, but I mean, if you're listening to this right now, it means, obviously, there's no baby.
no baby came.
No baby.
Yeah.
Let's move in to the other section of the podcast.
Yeah, because we'll talk about this more in the Roses and Thornies, the part of the
Oh, we
podcast,
will.
Scott, where we look back and we talk about what was good, what was bad, and that's what we refer to as our Rosies and our Thornies. So we're going to start with the bad, and since we've already kind of talked about my thorn a little bit, the baby's still not here. I was really excited to make it to spring break because I needed to make it to spring break so that whenever I had the kid, then I wouldn't have to go back to school or back to work whenever the kids were still in school.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really hoping to make it to spring break. And you know what? I did.
You did.
But
You
the
did.
thing is, Scott, I think this baby listens to me, but listens to me a little too much. Because now he's just like, well, she told me to stay in, so I'm staying in. And stay in he is, because when I went to the doctor, she was like, nope, nothing different. In 3 weeks, nothing's been different. I have been walking. I have been eating spicy food. I have been doing squats. I have been doing everything imaginable and proven by old wives' tales to work. But this baby's staying in. But you know what, Scott? I've gotten to the point to where I'm okay going back to work tomorrow. But if I have to go back to work tomorrow, I need to go to work for the whole week. So it's his decision. He either comes out tonight or he's not coming out until at least Friday afternoon.
I don't think it's his decision or your decision. Hey, Elyse, on a scale of 1 to 10, how tired are you of being pregnant?
I'm like 100.
No,
I'm done.
A scale, that's not how the scale works. You blew up the scale.
Yeah, I did because I'm done.
Well, you're not done.
I've never really enjoyed being pregnant. I'm one of the people who, number one, has never thought that pregnant people are pretty. I have
burn
never,
to all you pregnant people out there.
including myself. Like, I've never thought that it was a beautiful thing. Never been excited to be pregnant. Haven't really enjoyed the whole process. I'm very thankful that because I was so negative towards the whole being pregnant that I haven't had an awful pregnancy, because
Not at all.
if I was very negative towards pregnancy and I had felt horrible the entire time, you know that I would never, ever consider this again. I'm still not sure I'm going to consider it again.
Yeah, we'll see, baby.
But
We'll see.
yeah, it's just like there's nothing fun about being pregnant.
I think
At
it's
all.
fun.
Well, that's because you're not experiencing it.
I think you look beautiful.
Well, that's because you have to tell me that because you want to have another kid.
No, I think you look
Yeah.
beautiful.
Whatever. Anyways, so the baby's not here. I'm still pregnant, and I
Yep.
don't want to be pregnant.
That's a pretty big thorn right there. I would like him to come too. I'm kind of ready. And not just because I have to listen to you complain all the time.
Yeah, I do. I complain all the time. I'm not going to hide that.
No. Why would we?
No reason to. I'm sure everyone here knows that I would complain.
Oh yeah, they know.
Yeah.
They know.
So that's about it, Scott. That's my thorn. Baby's still not here, but it'll be fine. His golden birthday will be at least when he's an adolescent or early adult.
That's true.
It'll be great. We'll be able to celebrate big time with him.
We got a lot of, like, today's Pi Day as we record this, so it seems
we
like
got a lot of really good birthday options. We've got Pi Day today, Ides of March tomorrow,
St. Patty's.
St. Patty's Day the 17th,
Snyder Cut Day the 18th.
Stephen King something the 19th.
Well, it's just 19.
19 is just something you like.
Dark Tower number.
Yeah. So if he's born on the 21st, then he turns 21 on his golden birthday of like 21 when you're 21.
That'd be
golden
fun.
Birthday. And then otherwise the 22nd, he's here. And there's another teacher at my school that was born on March the 22nd, and I really like her, so I'd be okay if he shared the birthday with her.
That's how
and
that
works.
works.
And then the 20th is International Day of Happiness. His due date is International Day of Happiness and also the first day of spring. So
Cool.
really, like there's lots of fun days that like come on out, little dude, any day now. You got some good options. Just pick one. Anyways. That's my thorn.
And you've said that like 3 times. I've just been waiting for you to pass the torch.
I've been trying. Scott,
No,
what's your thorn?
That's how you do it. That's how you pass the torch, by saying, Scott, what is your thorn?
Scott, other than me, what's your thorn?
You know the saying, the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence?
Yeah.
That saying has always just been a saying to me.
Yeah.
Until we bought a house. And now...
You're competitive and you want your yard to be really green.
It's not that I'm competitive. It's that my thorn is the shape of our yard right now. And
it's real bad.
As compared to our neighbors' yards, but also just generally as our yard. And it's not in a great place right now. We've got a lot of bushes we got to clear out. It's a lot of stuff that we got to do that I was hoping to get like a professional who knows how to take care of grass out here to like look at our yard and like tell me what we need to do, because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to target these particular weeds and what kind of grass we have, and so I need some. And of course, I haven't been able to do that because money's been really tight for the past month or so. So our yard is just in a not great place right now, and it's bumming me out. Every time I drive by our house, I'm just like, oh, look at all those bushes. So
we can cut the bushes.
Yeah, but we have nothing to put there.
So?
Okay, well, I'll just get my stuff and we'll just go cut those bushes.
Okay. We can do that this week. Well, you can do that this week. I'm not going to, because if I do it, I'll hurt myself. Scott, you're furrowing your brow. What are you furrowing your brow at?
Just that your voice, like for my thing is breaking, and your voice just like
your mixer's breaking.
Your mix just dropped in volume for no reason at all.
Maybe the baby's coming. Nope. Okay. Still here.
What does that have to do with the mixer?
You know.
Okay. Let's talk about some good things. What is your rose for the week?
Well, I'm trying to find the silver lining here and the fact that I didn't have the kid over spring break. So at least I had a nice spring break.
Okay.
I got a lot of really good sleep. And then the big kicker is in America today, we have daylight savings time. We did not have to deal with a newborn schedule over daylight savings time.
That is very fortunate.
So those are my silver linings to the fact that the baby is still not here, but at least we got some good sleep before, because we're not going to get some good sleep after.
We lost an hour, but we got some good sleep.
Yeah, so I'm okay with that. But that's my rose.
Okay. It's good.
Everyone knows how much I value my sleep here. So.
And in a few weeks, baby, less than a few weeks, any time now, kiss that sleep goodbye. We both woke up this morning and said, this is the last weekend we're probably going to get to sleep in. Which is true.
Maybe next weekend, but it's not guaranteed.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I don't know. But Scott, what's been your rose for this week?
My rose has been, you mentioned this in your thorn, that we've been walking a lot because walking is said to help, make things happen in the labor department. So you and I spent all of spring break going on very long walks. We were walking we talked about this a little last week, I think.
Did we?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
But I've been really enjoying it. And just today, we went to White Rock Lake, which is like the big lake in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And we walked around that for a little bit. We were going to do the whole loop, which is like 9 miles, and then it started raining. So we had to... we only got to do 3 miles. But I don't know. I've just been really enjoying it. The dogs have been really enjoying it, and they're much easier to take care of when they're exhausted after these long walks. So it's like something that I've enjoyed doing, and I hope we get to keep doing it with the bebe. It's been fun. It's been good.
We're supposed to take the bebe outside to get some vitamin D.
Yeah, I got to get that
way
vitamin
they can
dick.
Tell the difference between daylight and nighttime and regulate their sleep schedule better.
Cool. I'm so glad we didn't have this baby during the worst parts of the pandemic. I'm so glad.
Or during February, whenever there was the snowstorm.
Yeah, it's true too. Man, we went out to eat at a restaurant last night, which we have not done very much of in the past year. And when we do, we sit outside because I ain't fucking with that inside stuff. There's still a pandemic going around. But we went to this place, and it's like this U of restaurants with a little park in the middle, and there are all these kids playing in the park. And I know things have not returned to normal yet, but there's been 100 million COVID vaccines given in the United States, which is like a third of our population, which is amazing. And it's just like, I felt for the first time like the hint of things
you could
starting
see
to
the
return
light
to
at the
normal.
end of the tunnel.
Yes. And like obviously still a lot of people wearing masks, not enough people, but a lot of people were wearing masks, ourselves included.
Babe, neither of us picked the thorn yesterday of the horrible traffic to the tulip farm.
Well, I don't want to relive that. That was rough.
Okay.
But this weekend was really good. The walking, the being outside, the seeing other people, even if it's at a distance. We were not like chumming around with a bunch of people, but it just made me feel like we're almost to the end of this thing. I mean, Biden announced he's moving up the timetable, right? Like everyone will be vaccinated by the end of May. That like by July 4th, like we could do cookouts with family and stuff and not feel stressed. But like it's been a long ass year. And it's so close to the end. And I'm so glad that our son was not born into this. He's born at the tail end of it. And he won't have to deal with any of it. I'm so, so, so glad.
He's just going to have to deal with the after effects of the education system.
Well, hopefully the good after effects, right?
We're going to hope we can get our act together in 5 years. But who knows?
I hope so. I don't know.
It's not the schools that are holding the schools back. I'm just going to say that.
What does that mean?
That the schools were working to move forward and they were doing what they could in order to progress over the past year. And we have limits put onto us by our governing agencies.
I think what you want to say is Greg Abbott, governor of Texas.
I don't want to put anyone's name or group under the bus.
Hey,
but he's not the only one.
You don't have to. Greg Abbott, I'm putting you on blast. If you're subscribed, unsubscribe. I don't even want you listening to my voice, Greg. You should be working right now, Greg. Get your ass in gear.
He just chooses bad people to make decisions.
Yeah, well, that's not a surprise at all. So that is our Rosies and Thornies, right? That's it.
Yep, that's it. So now we're going to move on to the actual meat of the show, the part about the OC.
That juicy meat.
We have finally made it to the end of season 3, guys. I've kept it a secret. You've kept it a secret. And I'm so excited.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about here. Marissa.
Yes. So the Man of the Year, the first episode that we watched, is the 24th episode of season 3 of the OC, written by Stephanie Savage and directed by Tony Warmby. Then The Graduates, the 25th episode, the finale of season 3 of the OC, written by Bob De Laurentiis and Josh Schwartz.
I believe that's De Laurentiis.
De Laurentiis, directed by Ian Twington. The original air dates were May the 4th, and then you had to wait 2 weeks for the season finale, May the 18th, 2006.
Fortunately, the season finale, or the penultimate episode, doesn't end on a
cliffhanger.
Yeah. I guess that was last week's, where he was punching the shit out of Volcik and we didn't know where we were going. That was not the end of this. I think most everything's wrapped up pretty good by the end of Man of the Year.
Yeah.
And then shit goes down. All right, so let's talk about the first episode, The Man of the Year. As I accurately predicted, Sandy is voted Man of the Year by Riviera Magazine due to his work for the hospital, but at the same time is having trouble with the law for his connections to Henry Griffin when Dr. Griffin's mob connections are made public. Although Seth is happy to be back together with Summer, he is not out of sorrow. Kirsten struggles with alcoholism again, and Sandy finds out Seth lied about being accepted into Brown University. Meanwhile, Marissa visits Caitlin at her posh boarding school, who needs her help to get out of trouble with another student. After Ryan brought Volcik to the hospital after he beat him nearly to death, Volcik wants Ryan to help him out with some illegal activities, which includes burglary and the theft of a car. Otherwise, he will bust Ryan to the cops. By the end of the evening, Seth's future may be going up in smoke. Literally. Boom. Wow. That was a long
So that was their kind of
summary.
cliffhanger, was the whole...
I guess Seth is arrested, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly...
They do away with that, like, immediately.
And is he really going to be that, like, what's going to happen to his future? He'll be fine.
Elyse, this is our penultimate episode.
Yep.
Talk to me about what you thought of it overall.
I felt like it did start to wrap up some storylines that helped and that I enjoyed as far as like relationships go. So we do know that Seth and Summer are back on good terms in this episode.
Yep.
And so that is something that is just like ridden out through the next episode too. So I'm glad that the whole drunk Summer still remembered that conversation. Didn't really care for the whole Marissa thing with her sister, but I'll get into that with my thorn, so I'm not going to go into it too much.
That is the one part. A lot of this episode feels like the culmination of a season's worth of storylines for our characters.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a part that just felt out of the blue. Like, we didn't know what to do with Marissa in this episode, so we just literally took her out of the OC for an episode to go do some stuff. I mean, what the long-term play they're making is Caitlin's return to the OC.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing, like,
The show.
taking a spot as a permanent member of the cast going forward, especially when another member of the cast will be removed.
Yeah.
But
So
that's why they did that. But I think she could have just showed up at the end. Like, they didn't need her heading to
right.
wherever her.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it was okay.
I was very happy with it. I liked it.
It was a good episode.
But let's move right into really what I think the meat of what we need to talk about this week.
Yes.
Is the season finale.
The Graduates.
I think the Man of the Year, like, I have stuff I want to talk about in it in our Rosies and Thornies, but
man,
The
Graduates.
Graduates.
This is the episode, guys, that I've been trying to keep a secret and that I was really worried that he was going to have spoiled for him. But it's graduation day for Ryan, Seth, Summer, and Marissa at Harbor High School. After graduation, they all go out to eat and celebrate their graduation. Ryan's mother gives him a new car as a graduation present.
say graduation 12 more times.
Marissa is going to spend a year on a boat with her father as her graduation gift. Seth finally gets into RISD for the second semester.
After graduation.
Summer is still going to Brown University in the fall.
After graduation.
Volcik is still mad at Marissa
After
and
graduation.
Ryan, so he decides to crash Ryan's car. What a poorly written synopsis.
Awful. So let's
But
just,
it got some major beats in there.
let's just get right down to it. Let's
Guys.
just do it.
Guys, this is the one.
Marissa Cooper
She dies.
is dead.
Marissa dies,
She's
guys.
dead now. She's fucking dead.
She dies in Ryan's arms because they were run off the road by Volcik. Did you see that coming, Scott?
No. I mean, I knew something big was going to happen. See, here's the interesting thing, and we'll talk about this, I think, more in your Rose. But the interesting thing is, I think this episode could basically have been a series finale. The way everything moves, all of our storylines are wrapped up. Ryan is going to go to college. Marissa is leaving. She's leaving the show. Like one way or another, Marissa was going to leave the show at this point. 'Cause she's either going with her dad to spend a year working on his yacht, or she's dying. But the way the show set it up is she's leaving. So everyone gets to say their goodbyes to Marissa, even though we don't know what's coming at the end of the episode. Seth and Summer have worked their stuff out. Sandy and Kirsten have worked their stuff out. Julie and her new guy, Dr. Roberts, seem to be good. Everything is good. And this could just have been the finale. Except, of course, for the death of Marissa at the end of it. Because to make that like the final moment in the series,
The final shot
would have been insane, an insane thing to do. So I feel like in many ways this could have just been the finale, except that they did that thing at the end and did not see it coming. I think it's very clever, like I said, that because Marissa was leaving the show or leaving the OC, she wasn't going to college, she was going off to do this other thing. It became very clear that she was leaving the show. And so they got to have their cake and eat it too by getting the opportunity for all the other characters to say goodbye to Marissa, to have the final goodbye with this character. And then they got to suddenly kill her, and they got to they got to do both of those things.
and they were really happy about it.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that more. I think it's a good finale. I know that season 4 is not very well regarded, but I'm kind of anxious to see.
I think you'll like it.
I'm kind of anxious to see how they wrap up a lot of the stuff. Like, I'm really curious to see how they're gonna make the show work with Summer because Summer is going to Brown in the fall. Seth is not going until the spring semester. He got into RISD, but not until the spring semester.
Yeah.
So he'll be around the OC. I'm really interested to see how they're going to make the show work with this stuff. I mean, my guess is that Ryan doesn't go to Berkeley right away because he's destroyed and hell-bent on revenge. My guess is maybe the season 4 only takes place through the fall semester. That's my guess. And then the conclusion of the show is Seth officially moves to Rhode Island. Okay. And that's my guess. But I'm curious to see where it goes. I'm curious to see how Ryan reacts to this Marissa death thing, because he's gonna probably almost destroy his life getting revenge on Volcik for that stupid shit. Yeah. So you want to move on to Rosies and Thornies?
Yeah, I do.
All right, let's move on to it. So as much as we liked these 2 episodes quite a bit, we thought it was a good end of a okay season. We'll talk more about the whole season next week. I want to know, of these 2 episodes, what is your least favorite thing? What is your thorn of the episodes?
Well, I just picked the part whenever Marissa went to Caitlin's boarding school and she tried to pretend that she was from London. Is that what it was? In order to help steal his crust back for her sister so that her sister wouldn't get kicked out of boarding school. But it doesn't really matter if her sister gets kicked out of boarding school because she decides in the next episode that she's going to come back anyway, since now everyone has graduated from high school. So she will no longer be seen as Marissa Cooper's little sister, and she can rule all of Harbor. And so, I mean, we've touched on why this is happening, and it's because Caitlin's going to be coming back. And so they were trying to reintroduce her as a cast member again and establish kind of her personality
what
further.
Her role on the show is going to be. Yeah.
And so, I mean, as far as giving them one last kind of fun, good old Caitlin and Marissa doing what the Cooper girls do best, pretending to be naughty women and, whatever. But
that's my problem with this thing is even Marissa, there's a lampshaded line there where they say, I'm not usually the one that comes up with the plans, but I've got a plan. And so it's she's not even behaving like Marissa in this episode. They just needed her to, they just wanted her to have a bonding moment with her sister to bring her sister back into the fold. Mm-hmm. And they didn't know how else to do it.
Yeah. And I didn't really like it. I mean, whatever.
It was superfluous.
She wore a Britney Spears style Hit Me Baby One More Time outfit.
She did.
That I'm sure every guy loved whenever that came out. But
we did.
I just don't really. I mean, I guess Misha Barton's pretty.
She is pretty. She's no Rachel Bilson, but no. she's pretty.
But yeah, anyways.
I think the chick that plays Taylor is more attractive than her as well. But, looks are subjective. Misha Barton is pretty in like she's
plain
like the
way.
No, not like the plain way. She's like the model look. Like she has the model build, and I'm not that into that. I don't know. Models don't really do anything for me,
Oh, they don't, do
Nah,
they? It's
nah.
all pregnant women with very large bellies.
Yeah. That's my thing.
Yeah. Okay.
No, we don't need to tear someone down for their looks. That's mean. But I just didn't. It's superfluous. It doesn't matter to anything. It's over.
We could have
and done
taken that out,
and nothing would have changed.
and nothing would have
Absolutely nothing
changed at all. Anyways, so Scott, tell me about your thorn.
My thorn is Ryan and Volcik.
Which, if we took that out, things would change.
Yes.
So at least that's important to the storyline of both episodes.
Sure. So, the big thing is at the end of last week's episode 23, Ryan knows that Volcik has stolen all the prom after party money, so he goes to confront him. Volcik, of course, wants to fight, so he dramatically closes the door and say, "Let's go." And then Ryan just beats the ever-living shit out of him. He, this is a callback to the multiple times throughout the season that he was punching the punching bag and losing control. He makes Volcik the punching bag. He loses control, beats the shit out of him. He's almost dying. In this episode, Ryan takes Volcik to the hospital because he's a nice guy. And Volcik, at first, for what we think is kindness, says he was jumped by some random people. He doesn't rat out Ryan. But then we realize that the reason he doesn't rat out Ryan is because he wants to use the leverage he has on Ryan to get him involved in some stuff. And so over the course of these two episodes, Ryan steals a car, takes Marissa's mother's pearls and pawns them to get Volcik
with
money
her
to pay him off.
permission.
Yes, they didn't steal the pearls, but
and it's not her mother's pearls; it's the pearls that Marissa's mom gave to her as a graduation gift.
Yeah, but
when you said had her mother's pearls, that just
she gave her to her to have some pearls, not to pawn to pay off some lowlife.
True.
And I understand what they're doing, and a lot, we were talking about how this is very much series finale type stuff, and I think that a lot of this is kind of coming full circle. A lot of the show comes full circle. Our Fab Four hangs out in the model home, just like they did at the very beginning of the show. There's a lot of callbacks, and one of the callbacks is the inciting incident of the entire show, which was Ryan gets involved with a car theft that goes bad and gets arrested for it. And I understand the desire to call back to that and show how Ryan's come full circle in the ways he hasn't changed and the way he has changed. I just didn't believe that after everything Ryan's been through, he would let himself get into this situation again. I don't think they did a really good job of selling why he let Volcik talk him into this shit.
Yeah.
I fully believe after 3 years living with the Coens, Ryan would have just gone to Sandy and said, "Look, Sandy, this is what happened. I lost control. I beat the shit out of this guy. He's holding it over my head. He's threatening me and making me do this stuff." And Sandy would have been like, "Don't worry, dude, we got it."
Well, Sandy has not been the best father figure these days. So.
Yes, but at the end of the Man of the Year, our good boy is back.
But he did this during the Man of the Year.
I understand that. But I don't believe Ryan would behave this way. I don't believe it. And so if you're going to try to convince me that Ryan would behave this way, you need to do a better job than just Volcik is making a threat. Because this same thing has happened to Ryan in the past. We've had whole character arcs.
And he used his words with Volcik one time.
We've had whole character arcs where Ryan has demonstrated that he doesn't behave this way anymore, that he's not going to go for the fight, that he's not going to do the stupid thing, that he's going to reach out to other people and ask for help. And this is all Ryan dealing with it by himself, all this stuff. And it's just, I didn't like it. I didn't believe it. I didn't like it. I don't like Volchek's role as just the evil dude. The reason why Marissa dies is because Volcik runs their car off the road. And it's just whoa, we've gone crazy with this dude.
Well, I will say, in the writer's defense of having him go through this, he did, it's the whole, I've already messed up once, I might as well continue because I tried to be a better person and I didn't. And so it's he punched the guy, he almost killed him, and I've already messed up. I might as well finish this too.
We've had that same.
Well,
they regressed his character for the sake of a plot point.
yeah,
that sucks. I don't like it.
it does, but that's Ryan. Always going back to the bad ladies.
It's not Ryan.
But
we did this whole thing. We did it already.
He just needs to find himself a quality lady.
Well, she's dead now.
Still's never found one. Marissa's not quality.
She's dead.
No.
Ryan needs to date our threesome extraordinaire, Taylor Townsend. Taylor Townsend has a threesome after prom.
I almost put that in relationship status, but I decided no, since it was just the one thing.
It's amazing.
Yeah. But okay, well, my rose kind of going off of the whole Ryan and Volcik storyline, 2 parts. Number 1, we're all happy that there's no more Marissa.
Yeah.
We've not liked Marissa. Marissa has brought Ryan and her friend group down multiple times, and now she can't do it anymore, except for the lingering effects of her death, which I'm sure will as well.
I think, so you told me that the reason they wrote her off the show is because she was testing terrible with the audience, that nobody liked her character.
She wasn't gelling with anyone on the show. No one bad rate, not just the audience didn't like her, but the cast, she did not get along well with the cast either. The chemistry was not there.
Could
they have done that earlier?
No.
Yes.
Couldn't they just have let her go work on a yacht with her dad?
No. That's how much they don't like Marissa.
It feels a little vindictive in that she's already leaving. She's already leaving the show. We're already going to write her character out of this story. But we just want to put the nail in the coffin. You ain't never coming
back now.
It's just, I don't know. Yeah, I think there's obviously some stuff I don't know that went on behind the scenes. But yeah, I was very shocked. Am I happy that Marissa's out of the show? I'm 100% with you on this. Yeah. Totally happy about it. This is cruel. And I think in some ways as a writer,
necessary.
Well, I think you can just see if this is supposed to be a show about Ryan Atwood, which it's only barely ever been, but if the whole show is supposed to be about Ryan Atwood, doing this to him is his greatest test, right? Now this man has killed the woman you've loved off and on for the past 3 years. What are you going to do about it, Ryan? So I get it. I just, so cruel and dramatic. Her death. So he takes her out of the car and then he's walking her away from the flipped over car and it explodes.
And they shoot back and forth too between the time when he carried her drunk, passed out from in front of her house.
Yeah, in the very first
pool
episode.
House. But yeah, no, it's very action hero at the end.
Yeah, he's walking away from an explosion and then he lays her down on the ground and then he's like, Marissa, I'm gonna go get help. And she's like, no, stay with me.
Yep.
It's very dramatic.
She dies and she goes and crawls underneath the bed.
What?
The Sixth Sense.
Oh my God. Just
kidding. She did that before the OC.
Yes, much before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very dramatic, very over the top. And I kind of loved it for the over the topness. I think that's when the show is at its best, when it's being kind of over the top and silly. But no, I liked it. I liked that she's off the show. You're right. I think maybe it affords better things to do with Ryan. But you're right that it is a little bummer that the thing that we're going to do to motivate Ryan early in the next season is still going to be the after effects of Marissa.
Yeah. Well, you can't win them all.
So what was the other thing you liked?
I really, really liked that we have recognized that Sandy is not paying attention to Kirsten. And so while Sandy doesn't, Seth does. And I thought that was a really sweet moment of him realizing that his mom was going, she was relapsing, and him wanting to check in on her and take care of her and call it out to his dad. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was a very sweet moment. It lets you know how much Seth really cares about his parents, even though there's never a lot of time. that's spent with him. We talked about it a couple weeks ago with the whole like Seth and Kirsten and her taking him to the AA meeting. So I feel like because of that, he had a deeper understanding and respect for his mom and wanted to help make sure that she didn't have something to relapse again. So anyways, I was pleased that he did that. Not pleased with he was so upset that he ended up going and smoking pot at the Newport group and then catching
and then burn the building
everything
down
on fire. But at least he was trying to help his family before that.
Yeah. If you hadn't put this as your rose, I would have put it as mine.
I thought you might have liked it.
I loved it. I really loved it. And the part that I particularly loved about it was just what you're talking about. This idea that this was set up. The show, by having that one-off scene on that episodes a few weeks ago where Seth and his mom bond and he grows to understand her struggle with alcoholism in a way that he's never understood before, it allows the emotion of this part of him stepping up and being that person. It allows that to play so much better. And so like this is one of those things that I love about TV, that you can set that thing up episodes ago and play off of it here, and the emotions are there because you've gotten the opportunity to take that time 5 episodes ago to do something like this. It was beautiful. I loved it. I mean, spoilers for when we get into my rose. My rose is going to be Sandy finally getting his head on straight, but
that would not have happened had Seth not done this.
No, and that's like all 3 of the problems that they're all suffering with right now. Her alcoholism, I'm not going to say his drug use because the marijuana is like not the actual problem. It's the things that he's doing that force him to smoke the marijuana.
Mechanism.
Yeah. And all that if this isn't a love triangle, this is a drama triangle, and all 3 of their problems all intersect and combine and resolve at the same time in a beautiful way. I loved it.
Way to go, Josh Schwartz.
Yeah, like this is good stuff, man. And the show so often disappoints me with that kind of stuff, but here it just fucking nailed it. It nailed it. Can we move into mine with that? It's
you
natural.
can. Go ahead.
So yeah, and mine is Sandy finally figures his shit out. And like we talked about, he figures his shit out because Seth confronts him. First of all, it's a combination of things, right? It's the letter that Summer sent to Sandy at the end of episode 23 that has all Seth's secrets on it. So Sandy opens the letter, finds out all the stuff about Seth. He's been using pot. He finds out at the same time that he didn't get into Brown. And when he confronts Seth about it, Seth is like, yeah, well, mom's drinking, which like he was coming to tell him that anyway. So it just like, and so it serves him not realizing how much trouble his son has been in, him not realizing how much trouble his wife has been in, him being told truthfully by his son that the reason he didn't go to him because he wasn't around just creates this whirling moment of like,
who have I become?
Yeah, exactly.
From Sandy.
Especially in a moment where he's being given the man of the year. And so it all culminates in this wonderful moment at the end of that episode where he goes to stand up there and says, I will not be accepting this award. I am not the man of the year. I have not been I want to be the father of the year. I want to be the husband of the year. I am going to turn over the evidence I have to the DA, help and participate and kiss the hospital goodbye. I kind of love how the show very clearly gave him a binary choice, right? It was like, either you keep your mouth shut and hope that this doesn't blow up on you and maybe get the hospital, or you turn state's witness, you help with the investigation, and without this guy, the hospital will be no more. So give up on the thing you've been working for all season long. And like you talked about with Ryan, like Ryan was all, well, I've done one thing, so I might as well do more things. Sandy could have at least said, I've already made all these wrong choices. To give up now would be to do all that for naught.
Well, that's the difference between Sandy and Ryan.
Yep.
Sandy's an actual good person or a good character on the show. And
so he goes, not only finally gets out of the Newport group mess, it seems like he's going back to the DA's office, or not the DA, the public defender's office. Yeah. So again, it's very much playing with the series finale type thing, right? Like where
everyone's come full circle.
Yeah. Sandy has gone through this journey and like realized he wants to go back to being a public defender because it's when he's the most happy. And it's all good and it's so earned, and I'm so happy. Like there were times where I really hated this plot line for Sandy throughout the season. but not here. Not here at the end. They stuck it. They stuck the landing. I loved it to death. It's my favorite part of the episode. It's one of my favorite things about the show, period.
Wow.
Really loved it. Really
Well,
loved it.
you've always loved Sandy. So.
He's my guy. I'm closer in age to him than I am to the teens. So
Right now you are. Yep.
fucking terrifying.
That's what happens when we rewatch shows.
Uh-huh.
Sad.
All right, Elyse.
All right, Scott. Are you ready?
I don't have anything.
I have one thing I want to
Okay,
talk
go
about.
ahead. Do it.
So should I sing it first? Or
Please
no?
do.
Okay. Come on, Scott. Tell me about the style in the episode. Hey, hey, hey. Come on, Scott. We're gonna talk about graduation robes. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about graduation robes.
Why are they one color for boys and one color for girls?
I was going to ask you that same question. I have never heard
That's
that
the big thing.
ever. I've never seen that in my life.
Yeah. The boys wore blue robes and the girls wore maroon robes.
I don't think that's a thing. I think you wear the robe that's the color. It's like your school color.
Yeah, or just black.
Well, yeah,
we just wear black.
When I graduated from high school, ours were red because red and black were our colors. So we wore red for high school graduation. College graduation, it was just black.
Both my high school and my college graduation, it was both black because gross. An orange robe for high school, disgusting.
Yeah, I've never heard of this gender robe choice. It was so weird.
It was the weirdest thing, and I didn't really talk about it whenever we were watching the show, so I wanted to talk about it.
I was thinking of it too. It's weird, and they're all wearing leis too, which they've never. I understand this is Southern California in school, but they've never had a Hawaiian theme
and they've
all.
never even though it's the OC, they've never really played heavily into it being beach town. You know, the closest they got was whenever Johnny was going to be a professional surfer.
I feel like the show, the pilot really emphasized the beach town nature of it.
Yeah.
And then they because that's how they sold the show. But I don't ever think Josh Schwartz wanted to really tell a beach town story.
Yeah.
And so as soon as he sold the show on that, he moved away from it.
Yeah.
And the most beach stuff we did is just Marissa sitting by herself at night at a lighthouse.
Yeah.
That's it.
And there's a pier that they go to. But I mean, anyways.
But yeah, you're right. I like graduation. I'm learning that high school stories is just good TV, and there should be more of them.
Okay, explain.
I just the events of high school just make for a really good structure to a season of television. I think that's why
there are so many. There are typical high school dramas
because you just have the school year structure. The thing about adult life is there's no
holidays. That's it.
That your only structural year-long thing are holidays. That's it. And there's only so many times you can do a Christmas episode. But if you have high school, you can do the holiday stuff as structural touchstones, but also have all the
dances,
semester, the dances, spring break, graduation, prom. You can have all these things, and I understand why we keep coming back to this thing in TV. We were driving home from
the tulip farm
yesterday, and I kind of realized that it's absurd to me that there isn't an extremely popular high school sports show on TV at all times. We were talking about Friday Night Lights, I think, which is a great show. And I was why don't they just perpetually do this? There's no reason to not. It doesn't have to be football all the time either.
Basketball.
Yeah.
Hockey. We've got the hockey show to keep watching.
Beartown.
Bjornstad. Which, if you have not watched the show, read the book first and then watch the show. Because I'm already disappointed in the first episode. I loved the book.
My point is here that 3 seasons into the OC, high school TV is good. Keep making it.
I'll keep watching it.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Yep. Let's keep doing it. And let's get some Friday Night Lights, but basketball.
I love Friday Night Lights.
All right, that's not style, but
that was One Tree Hill, Scott. They made the show One Tree Hill basketball.
Oh, well, okay. Let me put a preface on this. Do it good.
I don't want to be anything other than what I've been trying to be lately.
Why are you singing that song like that? That's terrible. Okay, Elyse, let's move on to relationship status.
Okay, for the last time this season, Sadie and Kirsten Cohen, the week before, were at a 3 out of 10. They have had a rocky couple of weeks because the key to their marriage, communication, has been lacking. Once Sandy realizes that he needs to be there for his family more than the hospital, things turn around for our foundational couple. Sandy finds out about Kirsten's drinking and returns to the Captain America Sandy we all know and love. So we're going to bump them all the way up to a 7 out of 10. They're at a passing grade for the end of season 3.
Comeback!
Yeah. I couldn't put them any higher than that.
It's fair.
But
It's fair.
I felt like they did not deserve to fail.
You're fair. Yeah. Next up, we have Summer and Seth. Last week, they were in a bad place, too. We gave them a pity 4 out of 10. Summer does remember what Seth told her at the prom, and they are in a good place again. Hooray. Seth gets into RISD for the second semester, and they are excited to figure out how to make things work for them on the East Coast. We're going to land them at a 6 out of 10 to close up the season, because while things are good, you know, it's going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
It's going to be a challenge.
They've got some hurdles they're going to have to overcome.
Freshman year is wild.
Yeah.
And high school relationships don't usually make it through college.
They don't.
So we'll see.
All right. So next up is Julie and Neal. They were at a 7 out of 10 last week. Neal doesn't want to go to the Man of the Year celebration to honor Sandy because he is under investigation by the DA's office. Julie lets him know the importance of standing by your friends despite them being the black sheep. Neal loves her. I couldn't remember what he said. It wasn't surprising morality. Was it moral compass?
Something hilarious. Hilarious.
Yes, by her surprising moral compass, and shows up to support his friends and fiance. So I'm going to give him a point and have him an 8 out of 10.
It's one of those things where like it sounds like a compliment until you think about it, and then you're like, "Hey, wait a minute."
But she took it. She was pleased.
It's like if you said to me, "Scott, I'm really surprised by your faithfulness," and then I'd be like, "Wait a minute."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's so wild to me that Julie and Neal are the couple of the week and have been the couple of the week.
And they're the strongest couple of the ending season 3.
They're doing really good. This is what I mean about like this could have been the end of the show, right?
Yeah.
Because they finished the season on Julie, the best place she's been in.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the tragedy of it too, is she's worked things out with Marissa. She lets Marissa go. Like Marissa wants to go spend the year in the Greek Isles with her father, and overprotective, overbearing Julie Cooper says,
Sure.
"Okay, yeah, I trust you." It's a really great ending for Julie, and thanks, Dr. Roberts.
Yeah.
We could just stop the show here. But now we're going to have to see what happens, because Marissa's death is going to affect all these people.
It is,
all of
isn't it?
And last, and certainly least, we have Marissa and Volcik. Last, we gave them a 1 out of 10. It's going to change. Marissa doesn't answer phone calls from Volcik, and that drives him crazy. He gets drunk and drives Ryan and Marissa off the road. They are done because of more than one reason now. That reason being, one of them is dead. So we are forced to give them a 0 out of 10. And I can safely say that this is the last time Marissa will appear on the big relationship board.
Yep. You know what else I loved?
What?
Whenever Ryan and Marissa were talking about like no regrets, they were happy with how everything turned out. And then Ryan goes, except for Oliver. I loved that part.
Oh yeah, that's the show
Yeah.
being aware of itself.
Yeah,
because
it was good.
because everyone hated Oliver.
Everyone hated Oliver.
Well,
Yeah.
and
Let's
that's
save
it.
we're gonna save predictions for season 4 for next
Yeah.
time when we have our wrap up for season 3.
Yes, next week on the show, we are going to be taking a look at season 3 as a whole, talking about our Rosies and Thornies of the entire season. We're going to judge the season against the 2 that came before it and figure out which is the best season of the OC.
We're gonna Rosie Thorny the season so far. Oh no, we should do.
I literally said that.
Well,
You mean the series
judge it.
so far?
yeah,
How? So we're going to Rosie
but
Thorny
we
the
can't.
season.
No, we're not gonna.
No, we
okay,
can't.
No, we're
No,
not.
no,
Yeah,
no, no,
not
no.
until we're done with it. Okay.
But for this week, that's all we have time for. If you like this podcast, you can check it at all the other shows we do over at our website, doofmedia.com. That's where you can find the Doofcast, Kingslingers, and everything else we do.
And right now, you can also find the voting for Doof Madness.
That's true.
Which I've been doing every week. I think that's pretty fun.
If you're listening to this right now, it means our Sweet 16 matchups are out, so there are only 16 more movies. And it's getting tough. It's getting really, really tough.
Not for me, Scott.
No, yeah, because you're a soulless
I'm good
jerk.
at making quick decisions.
You're just mean.
Go
You
with
just
your
don't care.
gut.
Also, consider donating to our Patreon account. That's patreon.com/doofmedia. There's tons of great bonus things at each and every level we have. And you
Level up, guys.
Yeah, level up.
Yeah.
Just get that mushroom. Just Super Mario.
Level up by giving us all of your coins.
Sure.
The monies.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay.
We got it.
Okay. Sorry. Continue.
Also, if you happen to be listening via Apple Podcasts, why don't you give us a rating and a review? Every rating and review helps more people find this show, even though it's almost over. We only got 16 episodes left.
Oh, wow.
Do we want... We're also going to announce next week.
Oh,
what
are we going to do it
plan
next week?
to do next.
Okay.
What we're going to do next. We have to finish up one more season of the OC, but after that, we're going to start a new show, and we're going to announce next week what that show will be. So tune in if you want to hear that. We'll see you then.
It's a good hook for next week.
I'm fucking good at this, baby.
Okay.